sharing a story, and then didn't have time because I just started a new job. And so this is pretty off the cuff. It was just inspired by our 4 great storytellers we had at the start. So, as some of you may know, I used to be a very avid yoga practitioner. I still like yoga and I miss it. I wish that I could do it more, but it's time consuming. I did Ashtanga practice. I was hardcore, and I would get up every morning at 5:30, and I would go to my studio and I would practice for an hour and 45 minutes, and then I would drive to my job. And it was every single day. I was really, really into it, even though I hadn't really been doing it that long, but I advanced really quickly through the practice, and I got strong. I got these muscle arms that I don't have anymore, and I got, you know, strong abs, and I could put my legs behind my head and balance on my arms at the same time, no joke, and like, and it was, you know, it was really challenging, and it was a practice in sort of the truest sense of what it means to have a practice, something that you do every day, even though you hate it a lot of the time. But the rewards are there too. And so as I was advancing through this, the postures got more and more challenging. With Ashtanga, there are several series, and you sort of graduate to a new series once you have achieved a certain level of proficiency in the earlier series. And so I was doing the 2nd series, and this was a huge ego trip for me. For one thing, I was like one of only about 3 people at the studio doing 2nd series, and you know, I'm very competitive, as I have mentioned in the past, probably to most of you in another story that I told. And so I, you know, really wanted to be really good at these really hard postures. And so in 2nd series, you do a lot of back bends, and part of the like yoga speak is this idea that, like, you know, we hold our emotions in our muscles, and if you can relax your muscles, then you'll let go of the crap that's, you know, built up in your head as much as it's built up in your body. And so for some of us who are trying to be really avid practitioners, we take this in and we go and we're practicing really hard, and we're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let go. Okay, come on, enlightenment now. And you know, you keep going every morning, and it doesn't, it never comes, and you're just like, I'm letting go, why is nothing changing? And then, you know, maybe one day you'll like get to work after, and you're like, oh, I totally let go of my practice this morning, it was great, but you're inside, you're like shriveling up because you know you're lying. You know, so there's, you know, you go through, and there's this weird difference between the yoga speak and the yoga experience for so much of the time that we spend doing yoga. These things don't ever come together. And then one day while I was working through my practice and doing these crazy back bends, you know, I was hating it, and you know, every day it was really hurting, and I had an old back injury, and so I was not telling my teacher that it was hurting, because it's not actually supposed to hurt, but I wanted to be better than everyone else anyways. And then one day, like, it didn't hurt. I did this thing, you know, it's the king pigeon pose or whatever. You sit on your knees, and then you put your hands in prayer. If Anna was still here, she would know what I mean. And then you go back, until you grab your heels and put your head on your feet, and it's terrifying. And I did it, and it didn't hurt, and it was just like, wow, like the first time. But see, that still wasn't the enlightenment. I didn't, you know, like, it was exciting and it felt good. But then what happened next was what really shocked me. I came out of that pose, and it didn't hurt, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I started bawling. I could not stop crying. It was like a floodgate in my body opened, and I was just like, what happened? And I mean, I have not experienced this since, even though I continued practicing, and I had never experienced it anything like it. It wasn't. I don't even know what it was yet. I haven't been able to figure out what it was. But I was crying. Something that was held in those muscles. It let loose, and I didn't practice for a week. I didn't talk to people. I didn't do anything because it just like exploded in me when my body contorted. It was wild. And so I don't say that to recommend yoga on that basis. Anybody, the yoga speak is still just like some crazy hippie shit, but but this was amazing for me. So thank you.